Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our group session. Group session is all about facing challenges, and you're learning to challenge yourself as well as to challenge your emotions that are part of who you are. Learning to challenge. Finally, Friday has been a long time segment for Group Talk. Long time segment for Group Talk. And before it became Group Talk, we always had Finally Friday. We still do, but we made it into a community where you can actually come in and you can be a part of what is healing at our healing center. You don't have to have any struggles. You can just be a guest. You can just be a guest. Like Disney says, our guest. Be our guest. Today we're going to talk about emotional safety. Emotional safety. You know, it's a lot going on in everybody's town, all around. Everybody's town. So we're going to talk about emotional safety. We hope that all of you are going to get a chance to come and be our guest. We want you to know that our Facing the Lion podcast and healing center is all about your challenges, your healing, a place to communicate, connect, and if you just want to be part of our audience, come on down. It costs you nothing. But when you do come, we are more than willing to accept your donations and to pride ourselves with that. Come on in. Come on in. It's about to start.
Some spaces here. I think
No worries. Just let yourself right back in. Let yourself in. I got some stuff I gotta write. So just enjoy this music.
Go check your favorite streaming platforms.
And it is by our very own do you wonder where our sound comes from? It's by our very own Chris. So we hope you'll enjoy. One of the things I want to tell you guys is that all are welcome here. All are welcome. We want to make sure that you guys are feeling safe here. You can donate at, I'm going to put it here. I'm going to put it right here so everybody has it. We still have a couple minutes. Put that here. And
and how it can affect you. I love this thought. We are not our mindsets, but our mindsets influence everything in our life.
our lines are open. And our direct connect. Thank you. Our direct connect. Our direct connect is 1-888-722-9260. For those of you who are online, you can ask your questions here. Our group session is on emotional safety today. Emotional safety. You know, a lot of people come here.
You ever heard of
A lot of people come here, and I want them to feel safe. Because we don't know what their situation is. And I want you all to feel safe. I want you all to feel safe as you come into Vibetalkfacingthelion Healing Center. Everyone has a right to feel safe. Emotional safety is what we're going to be talking about.
And so I ask you today, as we are going to be facing our clients or challenges,
This is our sign. I'm waiting for people to get on. Yeah. If you want to join us, we're live on Facebook. And that is where we will be every Friday. Always check in to make sure that we're going to have it. It's going to be ongoing. Okay. And
all this year we have been dealing with the book, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. Feelings
this is our song
buried
and our
alive never die
information
is
board.
about your feelings. How to deal with them. Strategically, how to feel
And we are so grateful to our co-host for the podcast. I don't know if you all know it, but I do have a podcast. And it is Vibetalkfacingthelion podcast. We're going to encourage you, please, wherever you are now, to take a moment. We'll be here in the next hour or so. So we're going to. So we're talking about emotional safety. I think it's important, don't you? I think it's learning about your relationships, learning when you're not safe, when you're feeling validated. It's so important. Let's start with how are you feeling today? So important. We stress this. That we check in with ourselves. So we're going to talk about emotional safety because emotional safety looks different for some. What is it? It's a feeling of being and feeling, being and feeling who you are. It's a need and essential, and it is a building block for how we feel. I didn't officially start.
Oh, okay, good.
So, emotional safety. Is there a need to talk about emotional safety? What do you think?
Yes.
Why would you say yes? And
Because,
for those of you who are online, please write in the box. Go ahead.
because I think that sort of dictates how we react with others and how we are with ourselves.
Yeah. How we act with others. So every week when we're here, we're going to be discussing different mental and emotional concerns. We put that in our box, emotional safety. What was that again?
How we are with others, or how we react to others. And with ourselves. If we don't have inner peace, we will be finding chaos outside of us.
So,
Whether, we perpetrate it to others or we feel that others are doing it to us.
okay, very good. So that's what we're going to take a look at. We're going to take a look at emotional safety. And I want to remind everybody, whoever comes on here, whoever comes to the door, after 11:30, doors are closed for your safety, for everyone's safety. We ask that as you come here, because it is live and you can be interacting, whomever comes in, We invite you to keep coming. Keep coming. There are ads in the newspapers, newsletters. If you have any questions, our direct number is 661-795-0475. You can always text directly if you want more info. More info. So, emotional safety. People know that many don't feel safe. They're always wondering about what is going to happen. Are we feeling this, or are we keeping silent about it? Emotional safety is important. Emotional safety. We don't want you to become unaware. In society, out of society, however it is. But there are people, really, who are walking around and feeling non-emotional safety. Non-emotional safety. Let's talk about that. Talking about that requires that we are vulnerable. We're going to be vulnerable about it because no one wants to feel uncomfortable. There are some people that don't leave their homes. And I was one of those people. Why do I need to tell you guys this? The reason I need to tell you guys this is because you can't learn until you have experienced it. And if you haven't experienced it, you can learn to listen from others who have. We talk about all kinds of things. Lists are too long, but if you have been with us and you have been in our group sessions, then you know. Let's think about the causes. The causes of, because I always like to answer what, and this is our what. So important. Now, we're going to talk about some of our root causes. And keep in mind, I am not a doctor. Okay. I am, however, a certified counselor, life coach. I'm certified, so I'm able to teach you this. What are the root causes of? Our subject today is emotional safety. I want to say that because some of you are going to come here, and you know what some of you are going to say, what are we talking about today? So I want to tell you about that. And here's another thing. I want you all to know that what we're doing right now, if you've missed us for any reason, whatever your reason is, I want you to understand that you can go to these very educational discussions in case you want to know what is it that we are talking about today. What's it that we're talking about? Those who are on line, I will answer your questions, okay? Root causes, because that's important. It's very important. Everyone wants to feel safe. How many of you want to feel safe? I do. If I were to take a poll of everyone that I talked to, and there were 10 people, which is not 10 people in this room today, but if there were 10 people, what would you say, educated guess, hypothesis, out of the 10, how many would you say would feel unsafe?
3 or less.
You say what?
3 or less.
3 or less. Good guess, yeah. And I would say that because out of the 10, there's gonna be about 1 or 3, and sometimes I will put you on the spot to say, are you feeling unsafe? I'm gonna start with you. Are you feeling unsafe?
Not right now, not here, but in general, yes.
Okay. Thank you for that honesty. Can everybody hear her okay? Because I can hear her. And by the way, because we're live recording, we don't call out names. And we do that for all intents and purposes. We don't know what people's situations are, but we do know that we talk to people. How do you survive? How do you survive being unsafe? We always think about safety. We always think about safety being one of our most powerful instincts. Safety, right? Then we take that on when we have children, because what do we tell them? Don't go out into the street. Why do we say that?
For their safety?
We're always worried about safety. Who's safe? We want them to be safe because what? There are crazy drivers. There are people that are riding bicycles, traveling. All kinds of things can happen. They can fall and bust their nose, heads, injury. So here's what I want you to do is understand that emotional safety is our most powerful instinct. I am writing as I'm talking. Okay. I'm gonna write that here. This board is gonna, and I'm gonna write that word. Instinct. Powerful. Whoops. Because everyone wants to feel safe. I'm going to get into it. And I advise everyone when you come here, okay, whether it's a small group or a large group, if you want to take notes, if you want to just listen, you are to do this at your own discretion. We want to feel protected. Or do we? We want to feel protected. We want to feel protected. So root cause. Feelings of not being protected. Protected. That's one of the causes. Can you think of any other reasons of why people are not feeling protected?
Previous negative experiences.
Mm-hmm. Negative experiences. Okay, negative experiences. The reason we want to talk about this is because sometimes in our own bodies and our own minds, we're disconnected from the fact that we are human and we have been through experiences. And when we come here, we may feel a sense of vulnerability. Okay, and we feel vulnerable because maybe it may be that you
Are triggered?
we can't hear you.
That you were triggered?
Triggering. Yes. We had that very subject. Triggering. We talked about that. That's already recorded in for your listening. Yeah, triggering. One of the things that I forgot to write that down. If you want to hear the session about triggering, just go to our list on YouTube. We are on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, as well. And this group session is going to be ongoing unless there is a notification. There is no group session. So as we talked about this, I want to think about reasons. We're going to talk about Tom, a man named Tom. Some are triggered, some are to themselves. But let's really get down to it. When we think about our emotions and what connects us, we all have emotions. We want to stay safe. How many of you are safe when you feel angry? What is that experience like for you?
Being angry.
And not feeling and connecting the unsafe.
Well, as you say, it's sort of like a primal feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're angry, it sort of takes you out of emotional safety, and it's sort of the opposite of feeling calm and centered in your body.
Everyone hear that? Root cause, anger. For me, anger takes me out of that safety. Because I can be so mad that I don't see anything but the color red and black. And that to me signals danger. And I've been there many a times. Even as I teach these groups and I talk to people and I do sessions with them, I'll tell you what, guys, ladies and gentlemen, it has helped me think. Because sometimes when we don't think, we can make the worst mistakes of our lives and change a life forever. So our feelings can be root causes sadness, shame. Can't hear you.
Fear.
Speak up. This is your session. You can speak right up. Fear. What about fear makes us feel unsafe? What's been your experience with fear?
Uncertainty.
Uncertainty. Yeah. Yeah. Feeling not emotionally safe. Yeah. I'd have to agree that mine is pretty high on the list too, of just what's going to happen. I start to worry about finances. I start to worry about how am I going to get this done? What's going to happen if I don't? Yeah. Yes. Root causes. I'm going to write that. I like that. Fear. You don't have to raise your hand. And if you're online, you can put up your you can put up your electronic hand and let me know you're here if you're here. So the root causes are tied to our emotional nature, our nature. The root causes of feeling emotionally safe. Like if I go hiking, I want to know that I'm safe. Why do I want to know that I'm safe? Because I know that there's bears. And I just don't feel like getting eaten by a bear. Not today, not tomorrow, not any other day, if you ask me to choose. So I will feel just a little bit uncertain because I don't know if I'm going to run into the bear. So I would feel unsafe. Now I'm going to take a vacay in May. For the first time in my life, I'm getting the claps. The audience member is clapping for me. Thank you. I'm going to take a trip. I'm getting on an airplane. Do I feel safe? No. But the emotional safety I feel because I'm going with someone that I trust. And because I'm terribly afraid of airplanes. I feel unsafe. I can't see the driver. I don't know what's going on. I'm just beside myself. But the emotional safety that I feel with the person, I know it's going to be okay. So there. We have to think about our children too. How many have experienced the first time when your child went to daycare, preschool, kindergarten, and that first day they're experiencing trauma? Why are they experiencing trauma? And they are, I'm looking for the word, they are feeling unsafe, but they're also feeling separation anxiety. Yeah. Separation anxiety. I forgot for the children. Any of these could be for children. Separation anxiety. Why do children feel that especially? Because, go ahead.
Because
No?
it's not their normal. So
Not.
there is some uncertainty being triggered.
Okay. So uncertainty of not knowing. Forgot to write that. Uncertainty. Uncertainty. And with them not knowing, that causes anxiety. So let's bring it to ourselves. When you think about, maybe you were a child that had this, you had the separation anxiety. I had it because I remember when I was younger and I started school. I'll never forget this. And I started school, and it was, I'm sure it was my first day. Like I can go back and remember that, but I've got very little memory. But here's where it hit me. My parent, my mother said, okay, I'm going to be right back. I'm in the classroom. And all of a sudden, I didn't see my mom. You know, being little, because I was with her every day, and I didn't want to go to school. And I don't remember what happened. All I remember is, where's my mom? I was like looking all over for her. And I remember my kids, especially my oldest, he would literally wrap his legs around me so that I couldn't get out of the class because he was just having separation anxiety. My other son, my youngest, he had some, but it wasn't as bad as my first one. Did they get used to me leaving? Yes, because they knew that I would come back. But they had that for the longest, the feeling of unsafe with other people. But what's it like for an adult to have to experience that emotional unsafetyness as a full-grown person? Causes stress. When you are the opposite of that, when it's someone you know, someone you like, you feel peaceful. You feel peaceful. So, unsafe, say, stress versus safety, peace. Why would that cause you stress? Why is that stress? Thank you for putting your phone on vibrate. And when you guys are in here, leave your phones on vibrate so you can hear. I want you guys to get something. I don't care if it's one of you that come here. These doors are always open, and I know you will learn so much about yourself, so much about your children. So let's talk about unsafe stress. Let's get into that. Unsafe stress. What happens to the body? What do you think happens?
It's like a fight or flight sort of response.
Mm-hmm. Fight or flight, yeah. Unsafe stress. You don't want this. You don't want to go through it. So unsafe fight. Because you're uncomfortable. Now, when you know somebody and you're at peace, how does that make your body feel? How does that make you feel when you are at peace? You're comfortable, you know the person, you know the atmosphere.
There's calmness and safety.
Mm-hmm. Calmness? Yeah. Look at that. Sorry about that. calmness. You're calm. You're relaxed. Okay. Now, going back to unsafe, because I think it's important we talk about what it does to us. We're, again, feeling, I'll just take this word, anxiety. That is coupled hand in hand with stress. Versus when we feel safety, we're relaxed, we're calm, and our body is tranquil. We are, which means peace. Tranquil. Now, when we think about emotional safety, because we're going to revisit this through the year and come back to this because I don't want to give you guys so much. I want you to be able to think about the emotional and mental health stresses people go through, the impact of the lack thereof of emotional stress can be unacceptable, unloving, contempt. And why do we feel that? Because here's another word. Because of being emotionally attacked. Emotionally attacked can make us feel emotionally unsafe. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to put that here. See how fast our board gets filled? Emotional unsafe. We'll put that there too. So you feel emotionally attacked. Let's talk about that. Because that can happen in a lot of ways. When you are feeling emotionally unsafe. I felt that a lot. Emotionally unsafe. And did you notice some of the root causes? I'm going to repeat them again. And some of them feel unlovable, contempt, all because of feeling emotionally attacked. I'm not saying that it's all that. Some may not feel emotionally safe due to other factors. You talked about freezing. Freezing, fight, or flight. It should be up there with freezing when we feel threatened, when you feel like something's going to happen. I deal with women who have been assaulted, abused, and many of you women, many of you men may be feeling this way too. You may be feeling a constant threat. A constant threat. A constant threat. Threat. Threats. Okay. Unsafe. You know, a lot of people don't like to be out at night. A lot of people don't like to drive at night. Why? They feel unsafe. They're not comfortable. Because maybe they might have, they can't really see at night, so that makes them uncomfortable. Or maybe they might be triggered. There are various reasons. But when you feel unsafe, it is okay to feel your feelings. It is never okay for anyone that comes into the healing center and sit with us as a group and say, well, you shouldn't feel that way. Because unless they've talked to you personally and they say to you, or you say to them, I feel this way because experience is always why we root cause things. Experience. Because we have experienced something negative. And here we go with this one. Root causes. Yeah, that part. And how many of us have had negative experiences? Anybody? Everybody has had it. Any child that you talk to, and listen, there are no perfect people. So if you come to the healing center and you say, well, I already have been through that, come and just listen to other people's experiences. And this is what we're doing. And this is your third week here. Thank you for being here. You guys really don't know what you're missing. Reaction, we talked about reaction. I want to get into that because I think that's real important. When we are shielding ourselves, even though we should think about our safety, for me, I didn't like going outside. I didn't feel like meeting people. I was happy in my home with my music and doing what I want. I was happy with me, right? But I also was keeping myself isolated, feeling like if I go out there with the people, it's just going to get worse because I didn't feel like I had good experiences with people and that everybody was a negative or it was going to be a hurtful experience. So here's what I want you to think about is when you are a person that shields yourself, and I don't mean shielding yourself from normal activity. We're talking about where it leads to your own health. It may lead to something that makes it even worse. There are people literally that I know who never leave their home. Back in the day, I met someone like that didn't leave their home. And they suffered great depression. I didn't know I was depressed until someone told me that. They said, hey, that's depression. So I want you to realize that that's a reaction. And sometimes it could be much worse, the after effects. Even if you're staying in your home and you're not feeling emotionally safe, open a window, open a curtain. I was raised where each morning my mother opened her windows. It was the first thing she did. And she used to tell me about the light and how the light needs to come into the house, because it does. It makes you feel better. I think for everyone that getting out into the sun when it's safe for you to do so. Because sometimes it's too hot. That's the safety we're talking about. It can be physically unsafe for you to go out in the rays of the sun unless you protect yourself with suntan lotion or whatever you do, or a hat, sunglasses. That's another kind of safety. But now when you are feeling like you don't really want to go out, open your windows. Don't live in a dark place because it adds to that stress. I want you to think about your power and challenging yourself if you are at any time feeling unsafe. It's always best to talk about it. Sometimes we have different needs. You could have a small circle of friends. You could have a circle of just your family and no friends, or lots of friends and entourages. It's all different circumstances. But now, when it's all around you, do you feel protected? Some people, if you've noticed in life, have you ever noticed that in life, people are safe with others? They'll have an entourage of people, and you're like, who are all those people? You know, and you notice there are a lot of celebrities that do that. They'll have an entourage, bodyguards, and then some friends. Like, you can't ever be alone. Is that wrong or right? We're not to judge. But then there are people who are loners. They're by themselves. As they're by themselves, you know what they do? They start to do what? They start to be reclusive. Reclusive. You wonder if that person is lonely. And some people are fine by themselves. Why? Because there are different reasons. They could have had an experience of one or another. Everything is based on experience. How you feel about something. The way, you know, if I don't like broccoli, and you say, I love broccoli, and I say, well, I don't like broccoli, and you say, well, why don't you like broccoli? I'm going to give you the experience. The same as you're going to give me the experience of why you like broccoli, right? Everything we do and say is based upon experience. My youngest son used to always say, unless I experience something, then I can't say that about a person. He used to say that. And that's so true. You can't say they're bad people. You can't say they're unless you have experienced them. Okay? And we want to think about being protected. We want to really think about the times that we are feeling unsafe. Sometimes our feelings are overwhelming. Sometimes people cut themselves off because they're feeling unsafe. And sometimes they can be unsafe to others. It works like that. We talked about the emotions calming down. Today, I want you, dear people, ladies and gentlemen, to think about your emotional safety. What do you do? How do you know if a person is emotionally safe? Or do you know? An emotionally safe person you build on. How do you build this? Through relationships, friendships, building safety nets. Building safety nets. I'm going to get into the relational part. You know, this is always my favorite part. To you that are listening, to you that will be listening, and to you that are here with me live. Relationships. A lot of people are safe with what kind of relationships do you think make a person safe?
Mutually supportive relationships?
Yes. Or, yeah. Everybody is building their nest. Nestled safely. You know, I like to think of the animal kingdom in comparison to the kingdom of people. When a bird has its youngin, the little birds, oftentimes that mother will hide those babies. Sometimes we don't even know there's a bird nest unless someone says, oh look, there's a bird's nest. And that bird stays nestled with those babies, okay? And will come back to that nest to feed that baby, those babies. It stays away to get the food to feed the babies. I just saw a video like that. And we can go on and on about the relationship. Here's the funny thing about it. They're not born with what we're born with. To think for ourselves, to know how to love, to know how to nurture. You see, when we think about safe relationships, it's loving, it's nurturing. And so we build our nest of safety nest on trust, safe. Trust, love. What else comes with that? Trust, love. What do you think? That board sure gets filled fast. Trust, love. Let's see what else.
Friendship?
Let's hear. Friendships. What kind of friendships? Dishonesty?
No.
Yeah. Kind of friend.
Hopefully loyalty?
Loyal. Loyal, because you see what happens? When a friend is loyal or you're loyal to that friend, you can build up trust. See, the feeling unsafe, ladies and gentlemen, the root cause is what? Fear of not being protected, negative experiences, triggered by a negative experience, fear. We talk about, even in children, separation anxiety, uncertainty. And if you're not sure of that person, maybe you've experienced, and I hear people say this a lot in relationships, that they can't trust. They get married, they get together, and they don't trust anybody. That didn't just come out of the thin air. It is always an experience. And believe me, being in the business that I'm in, of helping people and talking with people and dealing with emotional and mental health discussions, 9 times out of 10, they're not trusting because they've been hurt. Hurt. It's another root cause. You're hurt by that person. And so that one person that hurts you causes you to feel unsafe. But now, is it okay to keep repeated relationships that are hurtful, relationships that are non-loyal, relationships that don't provide mutual support emotionally, mentally, and any other way? What do you all think?
No. And we seem to forget that role in relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many of you are stuck in a relationship that is unhealthy? You already know, I don't trust that person. How many of you have had to go through your partner's phone because you didn't trust who he was or she was talking to? And you wait and you get the opportunity to do what? Go through their phone. Or how many of you are hiding and lock your phones? There's a famous talk show that I catch every now and then, and it's about unlocking the phone. If you trust that person, why do you gotta unlock the phone? And how many people, I mean, if you can make a talk show about it, it's a lot of you out there. So, does that make you feel unsafe or safe?
Unsafe.
Unsafe. And why does that make you feel unsafe?
Because you just never know. Uncertainty. You don't always know what they're up to.
What does that say?
Lies.
Your relationship is based on one lie. So it's really important that we understand the relationship with experience. How many of you can say, yeah, I feel unsafe because he lies? Or when she says, what's wrong, honey? Or he says, baby, what's wrong? And we hide it. How many of us can point to 1 or 3 things on here and say, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong? And tell your partner, your significant other, I feel unprotected. I feel triggered. I feel hurt. How many of us can go back to those experiences and be open with the person that we say we love?
Almost everyone.
They can go back or not.
They do.
Do they go back to be honest and have an open discussion, a frank discussion, or are they feeling unsafe because they don't want to violate his space? They don't want to violate her space. Or do they love somebody that much that they're ready to talk about their emotional safety? You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people, even when it comes to relationships that are sexual, they have a hard time doing this, communicating.
And just being vulnerable in general.
Yes. There's no, people talk about pillow talk. And I look at pillow talk in a way of, are we talking about the sex or are we talking about the feelings? What were the feelings? Because if I'm sleeping with somebody and you're sleeping with somebody and you don't trust them, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot to be said. Emotional safety is really important to talk about. It's really important for us to talk about that, because what do we do with it? We bury our feelings. Or aren't we valuable enough to say, this is how I feel, this is what I want? After all, I'm going to give you some things in closing to think about. We talked about communication. When we're feeling safe with a person, we openly talk. And we also, because some of us like to talk, while others of us like to do this, or should be doing this. How many of us like to listen actively? See, I learned something too when I was going through the class for certification. I learned about active listening. Because I could be sitting here and you could be talking, and I'm not hearing you because my mind is on 3,000 different things. But when you're actively listening, you're going to do more than because people say that's actively listening because you responded. See, you follow it up with questions. Like when I said, I really had a bad day. I'm really feeling unsafe. My comeback, my response, my reaction should be, what made you feel that way, or what makes you feel that way? And then you say something. My mom always says this about me. I always got to say something. So the next time she says that, I'm going to say, Mom, that's active listening. Because you're not made to just sit there. And I don't want anybody that says, well, I'm not comfortable because that person doesn't make me comfortable, because they never listen. What I want you to do is start feeling safe, or start making that person feel safe. First yourself, and then pour it on to others. Active listening to what they're saying, what they are conveying to your ears. Not just, Because if you do that in a relationship, you've lost. You've lost. So active listening is so important. In any type of emotional safety, you want to be understood. There's something I can't stand that makes me feel very unsafe when people say this. And I know they've said it to you. It was a misunderstanding. How many times have we heard that?
At least once in our life.
And how many times have we heard it again and again from the same person? Because that would be gaslighting us. When you know that this keeps happening. I cannot stand when people do that. It's a misunderstanding. See, I'm a person straight across the board, as you see. My board is filled up right now, but in life, that's how I am. Stop cutting across and tell people what's really going on. Not, it was a misunderstanding. Because if I ask you to explain what was the misunderstanding, you'd be lost. But that is something that people say, and that makes me feel unsafe. And I can't control other people, so what can I learn? I can learn not to repeat that pattern. In saying, that was a misunderstanding. Because, okay, some things we're not perfect, but everything can't be a misunderstanding. So make sure in your emotional safety that you are very clear on how you feel. very clear on how others feel. It's really important for you when you come in the healing center. Yourself, you came here, and you know how I know you felt safe? Because you were looking for stuff to plug up stuff. You know, and I was like, okay, she's comfortable. That's how I want you to feel. But everybody that comes to the healing center is not going to feel that because you guys don't know what it is. And again, you don't know what you're missing. So, in wrap up, did we cover the what, why?
Yes.
The when.
Also, yes.
The when. Sometimes when can be a lot longer for people. Trust is like a pyramid. You start laying the foundation and you level up. I hear so many of you youngins, you young ones say, level up. I'm leveling up. What we do is learn at our own time. All this session is about things that affect our daily life. Things that may even affect the people that are closest to you. And they can't even tell you what's really wrong with them because they don't know. Vibe Facing the Lion podcast is all about connection to one another. We want you to use your words. We want you to be able to say what is on your mind. We want you to be in control of your own mind, your own body, your own sense of being. Because we know that many people do what? Have experiences. Everybody can tell you about an experience. And most of the time when people tell you an experience in life, it has some powerful impact on them. So please make your emotional safety something that you think about because it's really powerful. Create for yourself a pyramid of trust. Sometimes people are extreme with whom and how they trust. It's not for me to say who is or who isn't, but emotional safety I thought would be good because I struggle with emotional safety. But now you found out some of the reasons. Before we go today, I would like to say thank you for everyone and anyone that's listening. We are every Friday. Included today is a list of our week and what it looks like. This is considered one of the workshops, as well as there is Wednesday Wellness. Wednesday Wellness is oftentimes going to be about self-care. I had a lady who called me regarding some little things that she wanted to do. And you have to be careful because, personal space, people, I can't make it okay unless I ask everyone in the group would they like something like that. I sure could have used it. But our Wednesday Wellness is a workshop because I will give you assignments online, or I will make an appointment for you to come in, and we're going to include that with our next door relaxation. There was one more thing. Oh, the art the art. That should have been on this list. But the expressions through art is also a workshop. Finally, we are looking for a panel of men. Why are we? Because we want the men to be able to tell us about them, their feelings. This is not just for women, men. You know, back in the day, and it's a funny story, my ex-husband, I used to watch Oprah so much that when he was looking for in transition of another job, he would say, guess what happened on Oprah today? Why do I say that? Because men and women are impacted with feelings. And it's nothing to be afraid of. The men's workshop, though, will consist on Zoom. It will talk about parents, co-parenting, fatherhood, fathers that foster children, single dads, stress, breadwinning. What does that really entail? And should we even use that word anymore? Because our world has shifted and it's changed. So mothers are breadwinners too. What is it like if you're an absent father? Yes, we're going to talk about that because we know that some of you fathers are very, very absent. And what do you do when she won't let you see your child? Because you're just as important as she is. I'll give you something to take home today is a thought of a young man that listened to our podcast because back then when we first started, we got phone calls. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to dial our number and tell us what you think about our topic before, during, and after. Our 800 number is 721-9260. But I want to leave you with this thought. He said, I've listened to your podcast, and I used to always get so mad that my baby's mom would not, my daughter's mom would not let me see her. Wouldn't let me see her. And it was just game playing. And I've been arrested so many times behind this. What should I do? I said, don't give up, but do it legally. We will teach you about that. We will teach you how to stay co-parenting. We will teach you about abuse, because it's not always the man that does it. Sometimes it's the woman. We will teach you about how you are rewarded. Every time I see a dad, oh my goodness, with their children, it just brightens my whole day. Every time I see a dad that is given attention, when I used to teach the very young, watching these parents support their children, dads, we will teach you, we will educate you, we will be able to tell you what the do-nots are and the do's are. So there is a workshop just for you, and we are looking for a panel of brothers, uncles, sons. I wish that my boys would get on this panel because I think it's going to serve something. It's just not a healing center just for the women, just for the children, and that's it. You have feelings too. And just because you're the man and the head to the family, you have feelings. So we want you to be able to enjoy the workshop. So if you're listening to this today, please pay it forward. Please pay it forward. I want to thank each and every one of you. I want to thank so many of the countries that are listening. I've never even stepped foot in Italy, Germany, London. This list is so big, it's like, wow. And we know that some of you are not in this room and some of you are not on the computer, but you do. You somehow find us. So please, please, please. I want to let you know where the address is. It is 1317 East Palmdale Boulevard, Palmdale, California, 93550. If you're not here and you're just inquiring about us, you can Google us. You can even ask Alexa about us. You can even call up Siri and ask them about Vibe Talk Facing the Lion podcast. And now we're even on AI. And I got all the facts right because sometimes AI is incorrect. So we're getting all the information because we discover even AI knows about us. Are we a free program? No. We are supported by your voluntary donations, whether it be a gift card, a gift to say thank you. We're willing to take that because we realize so many people are suffering with mental and emotional unhealing, unwellness. They just need a place to be. And we want that for you. So I want AI to get that free, that fact. When you donate today, I'll be out. I don't tell people where, but if you see me, I'll be out there today. So we welcome your donations. What are they for? Gosh, we need paint material. We have a client right now that needs a sofa and what else was it? A sofa and a bed. So things like that. If you want to know where your money goes, come right to this page and we'll show you. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And this has been a group session on emotional safety. My name is Nisi Robinson. And if you care to donate anything, go to our Cashapp. That is Vibetalkfacethelion, and it has my name on it. And I am the director and facilitator with your programming. Thanks, guys.